Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Friday edition of Talking Horses here from the cozy studios of the clubhouse at the Big A. I am the Big A, Anthony Stabile. Andy Serling on his way back from presenting the Handicapper of the Year and getting to witness our boy Bricks and Mortar being named the 2019 Horse of the Year. Clean sweep for Team Bricks. Chad Brown, leading trainer, Red Ortiz, leading rider. Finally, Seth Klarman and Klarvich Stable getting their leading owner award. George Strawbridge Jr., his breeder, even got in on the action. A clean sweep, first time since John Henry back in the early 80s that happened. And we have an 8-race card here at the Big A. The promo code's Big A. I'm fired up today. My boy won Horse of the Year. I'm very excited. You should be fired up. You should go to Naira Bets. 100% deposit match of up to $200. That's for new members only. Promo code is me. Big A. Friday happy hour. A lot of happy hours around here on Friday, but this is the best one. Early pick 4, 1 million point hit and split. Dr. Evil's involved. Everybody gets involved. That's right here at the Big A. I know Bobby Clapp, my partner today, is excited about that. I'm excited about this. Pegasus Reload bonus. So this is simple, folks. Deposit $100 through your app today. Bet the $100 through the app today, and there'll be a double sawbuck. That's $20 waiting for you tomorrow for the Pegasus World Cup Invitational. And here's my boy, Bricks and Mortar, one of his 6 wins, 5 in Grade 1s, in what was eventually a Hall of Fame season. Bobby Clatt, this was the Manhattan. The Woodford Reserveman, it was Woodford Reserve, yeah, Manhattan, Belmont Stakes Day. Here he is, good old Bricks.
You know what? He was so deserving of this award, especially the storyline. People think, oh, what a fantastic year he had. This horse has been through so much in the last 3 years. I know the Claremans and Chad as well. They weren't even sure they would get this horse back to racing. He gets one start, wins the Pegasus Turf, and the rest is history.
Yeah, it was such a great night last night. I was in my room yelling and screaming at the TV all night, let out like 5 or 6 bricks, biggest one for Horse of the Year, and we all start here as fans and gamblers first. And he brings out the fan in me, and I can never thank him enough for that. It warms my heart to know that him and my boy Mind Your Biscuits are over in Sade in Japan, hanging out together, telling old stories, and yeah, just very happy for everybody involved. What Seth Klarman did and his speech last night, if you get a chance to take a look.
Fantastic.
If there's a commissioner needed for this sport, I think we found him last night for sure. But just a great job, and the dedication to the sport and what it took to bring Bricks back, to keep him alive and just to bring him back to the races. Job second to none.
And I think you saw that toughness every time he ran. You saw that toughness of just, he was not letting anyone by once he got that lead. Whether it was the Breeders' Cup, whether it was the Pegasus Turf, once he got that lead inside the final 8th, forget it, it was over.
Yeah, fantastic season. Him, Annals of Time, Sadler's Joy, all won graded stakes races on our circuit. A great year, if you ask me. All right, we got 8 to cover today. That carryover in the Empire 6 starts in race 3. Early pick 5 time here at the Big A. Kicks off in the first 16-3 life claimer. Got a field of 7 currently. The number 2, Vintage Hollywood, that'll change in the next 45 minutes. He's the favorite in here, the drop down. I landed with him, you landed with him. 2 to 5 on the morning line. Really not much else to say.
I tried so hard to beat this horse, and I just couldn't. Drop him back down to most likely his friends in here in the 16 lifetime claimers. His last 2 and 3 back that were decent are far beyond anything that any of these horses are going to run to. So if he runs back to those races, I see him being a clear-cut 2 to 5 favorite, and probably should win like a 2 to 5 favorite should. I tried my hardest with purchasing power, but overall, you can't get by this horse.
Yeah, he gets a pair of blinkers back on. That's a late change on your program. He's won them in the past. I don't know what that's going to do. Speaking of Chad and Klarvich, when Chad Brown had him, I put Woodbury second, but this race goes through Vintage Hollywood. We were able to talk about Bricks because we didn't have much to say about the first race.
No.
Vintage Hollywood should be a prohibitive favorite. And you know, you ordinarily say this about 3 lifetime claimers, deservedly so.
Yeah.
Race number 2, that million point hit and split. Pick 4 on the app over at Naira Bets. Kicks off right here. $50,000 open claimer. You mentioned this yesterday. 2 to 5 in the first race aside. Fun card today.
Yeah.
Some really good races. Nice little way to get the weekend ready for the Jazzo and the Ruthless on Saturday and Sunday. Lots going on here this weekend. Love these straight $50,000 claimers. If there was a horse that you would deem the class of this race, it would be this one, I think. And here's No Distortion, who comes out of a couple of tries against Stakes Company in the Fall Highway in the Gravesend. Here he is back in November, getting the job done at a big price for $40,000.
And I think he was completely over his head the last 2 times. They took a shot. He ran huge in this effort here in the 40 claimer, but they had to take their shot with a horse that was hot. Now dropping back to a logical spot. Again, this is something we talked about yesterday. It all depends on the pace of the race. To me, I don't know if he's going to get enough pace to run into, and how far back is he going to be early on? Is he a horse that is going to be okay sitting 4 or 5 lengths off? Then he's got a shot. And if he shows that same kick, he's definitely got a live shot in here. But if he's 7, 8 back, slow starter out of the gate, I have a tough time seeing this horse have just enough kick to get to the wire first.
Now, he gets a 7th panel today, which could help his cause. My biggest issue with him, and it ties into the fact that he just doesn't seem to have any early speed, he's had some issues at the gate recently. He got bothered a little bit at the start, 3 back. He just didn't break in the Fall Highway, and he kind of didn't get away from there well in the Gravesend last time out. So I worry about that in a race where there's not a lot of pace. I'm assuming, like me, you go to Hawaiian Noises because you have to think, now he stumbled at the start last time in his first start off the Jason Service claim. But if he breaks, he's supposed to be long gone in here.
Absolutely, especially looking back to the last 2. Clench came back and won with an 87 buyer. Then you're going to run into Complexity, who's going to be a real nice horse to look forward to for Chad. And Mr. Dougie Fresh, who's also very consistent on the Naira circuit. So those horses, along with No Distortion, is he really going to run up there with Frenzy Fire, Happy Farm, T Loves a Fight, Recruiting Ready?
And there's no speed in here. He's just gone.
Yeah.
That helps his cause and really hurts No Distortion. They're the 2 horses. You tried to split them with the Sakari.
I did, because I thought they were over their head last time with Jovia, Identity Politics, Mr. W. Fresh. I put a line through that race.
Okay.
So if we go back to where he belongs in the 40 claimers, 32 claimers, he's run consistent with a big run. I think he's going to be the one that's going to be closer to the pace than No Distortion is. Is he better? I don't know. But I think he's going to be the more favorable trip. He'll show a little bit more speed than No Distortion, so I think he'll get first run.
He's run well on the quick turnaround as well. Back in May of last year, he ran okay 2 weeks apart. Back in November, he ran okay 8 days apart, so you don't have to worry too much about that. Yeah, I couldn't split them. I'll use the 2 of them in the early pick 4 and the early pick 5 and just try to move on. Maybe the extra 1/8 of a mile helps No Distortion and hurts Hawaiian Noises, but you got to think the early running Hawaiian Noise, edge to Hawaiian Noises for sure.
Especially being from the rail, you really don't have any other choice but to break well and send at least close to the lead. If not, you're going to be a length too clear.
Yeah. We'll see how it unfolds in race number 2. Race 3, Empire 6-time jackpot carryover over 190,000. Remember, you have to be the only winner to take down the entire pool. 25 3 lifetime claimers. Going to go 3/4 of a mile. There's a horse in here, 4 to 5 on the morning line. Inspector Bond. Let's take a look at him down at Gulfstream Park back in October. Actually, Gulfstream Park West back in October. Andy and I talked about this the last time he ran, Bobby. This is him getting the job done against fellow Florida breds.
Yep.
And this is a horse that Mark Cassie, who's the barn's been going real well right now at this meet. Take this horse out of Florida with all of that Florida bred money and quite frankly, slimmer pickings against those Florida breds down there.
For sure.
And he brings them up here. I mean, they ran him in a nearly impossible spot last time. This is the horse we were talking. This is one of 3 horses in my life I bet solely on looks. The first time this horse ran, he ran at Belmont Park. He came walking out of the paddock. This was almost 3 years ago now. He looked like King Kong.
You got a good spot there at Belmont, too, to see those horses.
My little porch. I was sitting right on a porch waiting for him. I made a huge bet on him. He went like 5 to 2, 8 to 5 in one flash. I ain't going to lie. Part of it was me. And a friend of mine, he's never come back to that.
No.
And it was his 4. He didn't debut till he was 4, and now he's 7, and he's only run 7 times, and I get it. But man, you kind of feel like this is a kind of now or never spot for him, right? He's almost got to win this race.
Well, and that's the confusing thing is when he comes back off a 600-day or plus layoff, he's been improving with 3 starts against those Florida breds. So now all of a sudden he takes a 2-month break, runs again in a difficult spot, and now you drop him for 25. That's a big time jump from running in optional claimers against state breds when you're not in for a tag down there. Come up here.
This is his first time in for a tag, by the way. All those Florida bird races, he was. That's what the N means in the PPs. He was not entered for the tag. So this is his first time for a tag, and like you said, he's running them for a quarter. I picked him. I'm not happy about picking him. You took a little bit of a shot against him with Take It to Scale.
And you know what? The first 2 races I thought were pretty chalky, so I finally said, you know what? Enough's enough. I'm going to take my shot here. Take It to Scale has run against the similar type company, so I think he fits the mold for this level. I like the work coming back. This horse does not work very often. All of a sudden, he puts in a 48 flat work over the training track over at Belmont. And first off, this time of year, you don't see that quick of works, especially on the Belmont training track with the cold, and it gets windy over there. So 48 flat shows me this horse is sharp, has speed from the inside. So if this horse is able to get loose on the lead, has the numbers to last start out and 3 back to maybe force the issue a little bit. He's gotten tired late and has faltered in the final 16th. But I think, other than this big favorite, I don't know where else to really go.
Yeah. I took Bronx Bomber second. I might save with him. He's the kind of horse, he has some tactical speed. Maybe if Take It to Scale goes, he just sits off him. You know, he'll also be in the type of position where if they don't go with Take It, it's hard to imagine they don't go to the lead with Take It to Scale. But if they don't, or he stumbles leaving out of there, whatever the case may be, Bronx Bomber may just find himself in the right place at the right time. I'll save a little bit with him, but I mean,
that's
it
my
looks
only
like
worry.
Spectre Bond. Yeah.
If Bronx Bomber does go, I think Take It to Scale's in trouble, and I think it falls into place for Bronx Bomber or Spectre Bond if he's good enough.
Yeah. That kicks off the Empire 6, race number 3. Late pick 5 goes as race number 4. Nice little lay other than in the middle of the card. I'll actually be in the booth to call this one today. We lose I Love Jackson. We do not lose El Hermano, your 8-5 morning line favorite. Here he is. He's looking for 3 in a row now. This was him last time out in a slop here at the Big A. Jose Lezcano taking him flag fall to that's all.
Well, and I think, first off, my first question when going through these PPs the other day is, where do these 2 races come from? And I know one's on a fast track, one's on a sloppy track, so can't throw that at him right there. I think it's because he's been loose on the lead, and that's why I picked against him here with Singapore Trader. I think Singapore Trader, this is what he wants to do, a 1-turn mile. Unfortunately, I wish he was on the outside of El Hermano to be able to stalk the early pace, but this horse is improved lately. 2 of the last 3 have been numbers that are good enough to win here, and also I think he's going to sit the trip. If El Hermano goes, maybe Gutierrez switches to the outside, maybe has enough room to then stalk. Does anyone else really go with them in here? I think it's going to be 1-2. I love Jackson, no pun intended there, for this race because I thought he was going to sit the outside trip to stalk. Now that he's out, I don't see anyone else that's going to really want to stalk these 2 or be close 3-4 lengths on the backstretch. And I think it's going to be these 2 going around. I think Singapore Trader, though, is the one I want to make sure he gets that first run.
Yeah, you know, from the rail, you would think that they're going to try and be a little bit more aggressive. I don't imagine they're getting in front of El Hermano today. I know that on paper, it looks like Singapore Trader might be faster. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And Jose Lezcano knows that better than probably 98% of the jockeys in this country. He's putting this horse on the lead today, and he's probably doing it come hell or high water. He's going to get this horse to the front today, and I think by doing that, you put Singapore Trader in the 2-hole and make him chase. It takes him out of his game a little bit. You know, it's an interesting race because the other 3 horses in here, it's not like they're without chance, right?
No.
Hirsch is getting is a fresh gelding. This is a horse that connections have been high on since day 1. He ran behind Payne, then he broke his maiden. He kind of lost his way a little bit. Some layoffs. They tried the blinkers. They stretched him to 2 turns. Now he's going to be a fresh gelding. He gets 6 months off. They recorded the gelding back in September. So this is something that has been, he's had a chance to adapt and to acclimate to being a gelding. I kind of like that when you see a fresh gelding. Sometimes a guy will geld a horse and they'll come back too quick. But he's a horse that they've been high on since day one, who kind of lost his way. He'll be a decent enough price. You got a first-time Danny Gargan in here. The 3, Frank's gun is loaded. And Kriya's Brooklyn Law. Linda scratches I Love Jackson, leaves this one in. I mean, we both think he's got a little bit of a chance in there. This is an interesting race. If El Hermano, and you're right, and there's some pressure put on him by Singapore Trader, it kind of opens this race up a little bit.
If it falls apart, obviously I think Frank's gun is loaded is my wise guy horse in here. Because if you go to that start at Fairgrounds going a mile and 70, he beat Comedian and By My Standards in there. 2 horses that came back to win, one to win Louisiana Derby. So he's shown ability. Now he's had a few months off with Danny Gargan in the barn. Danny does great numbers with first times in his barn, winning at a 33% clip. Hirsch, like you said, he's coming up from Florida. He's been trained down in Florida super too, running consistent works, showing speed 3 works back. He's been basically tidied up for this one. Why ship him out of Florida for this? That's my only question mark.
It's a fun race.
And then Kriya's Brooklyn Law, on his best day, why not? His best day is good
He'd have to
enough.
step up, but he always shows up, and you have enough question marks in here where he wouldn't be
For sure.
a super surprise.
No.
Fun race. Fun race 4, kick off the late pick 5. Crossroads race of the day. It's involved in everything. Both pick 4s, both pick 5s, Empire 6. Race 5, maidens, wide open, field of 12. Here's Pavit and Brunate going at it. Pavit was a huge price. I need to get Pavit home this day at 50 to 1.
Really?
Yeah. This was the day the big favorite ran off the board. I can't remember who the big favorite was. Big favorite ran off the board, and Brunate is going to wind up 5th in here, but Pavit almost got the job done at a huge price.
Well, I think Pavit did all the dirty work in here too. Coming off a 2-month layoff here, proving numbers, and he was in a 4-horse battle for the first half mile for this lead. And all of a sudden, those 3 that were battling with him dropped back, was nowhere near, and the winner came from dead last at the half mile pole. So the pace obviously collapsed. He kept running on. Now coming in second off a layoff, with Jose Lascano jumping on for Jeremiah. I know Jeremiah's barn has gotten a little cold as of late, but this horse is far and beyond. If he gets a similar trip, I think he's shown us his potential and can only grow from there.
Fair enough. Listen, this was to me the most wide open race of the day. I made a case for 4 of them, the 4 you see on the screen. You put Pavit on top. We both have Pavit and Funky Now and Wild Banker in the mix. I like Beg to Differ. Jonathan Thomas with a handful of numbers, 2 for 3 with a third so far on these horses he left here. I know they ran this horse on the turf first time out, but he'll get blinkers. Jonathan has a good numbers first time blinkers, good numbers with second time maidens. These similar kind of layoff horses. He's missed 3 months now. All guns seem like they're ready to go. Horse is going to be half of the 8 to 1, I would think, if he's live.
Yeah.
If he's not, I'm in trouble. But I want to use those 4 horses on the screen. Wild Banker's the interesting one for my man, Michael Tenuzzo. The blinkers went on, and Michael's been helping Mike Denny with this horse. So you see the trainer change. Michael's been helping Mike Denny with the horse. The blinkers really have seen more often than not. I do make a little too much of these, but this horse has jumped 20 buyer points with the addition of blinkers.
I get it, because the addition of blinkers, and also with these big fields, and a lot of these horses have shown potential to have speed. So this is a horse that you know is going to suck it up if everything collapses on the front end, especially like it did last time in Pavit's race, where Forever Wicked came from last because there was a 4-horse battle for a lead. A similar type setup might happen here. My 4th pick here, Farragut, is that how you say it? Farragut here has shown speed first time out, good number for Pat Quick. I know it was a big price, but the damn one on the dirt, I know lower level claiming. I remember Maggie talking about this horse first time out, probably said it wants a little bit longer, so why not take a chance going out a mile here at this price? But again, like you said, Wild Banker wants this 5-6 horse speed duel up front. If that's the case, he turns into 6 to 5 hitting the half-mile pole if they're running anywhere near 23-2, 23-3.
Yeah, it's a wide open race. We'll see what happens in race number 5. Brunade, Farragut, you can make a case for 5 or 6 of them, I think. Race 6, starter allowance, going 7 furlongs. I thought David would make Officer Hutchie a little bit shorter on the line. Here's Officer Hutchie coming out of the New York Stallion Series race where she is going to run second to a Freud of Mama who came back to win last weekend. I mean, nothing wrong with this race. Just got run down by a horse who ran the first 4 times on the turf and is obviously a dirt horse.
Yeah, and came back and won by 6. It wasn't just won by a nose here in the Franklin Square. Won by 6 going away. And I think that was even a price, 5-1 or 4-1,
yeah,
something like that. But Officer Hutchie is running the fast track, run well, came up to win first time out. Then comes back in the stake on the muddy track, runs well, keeps on improving. Now, 3rd time start, he's shown to be closer. He's shown to come from off the pace. He can adapt. I think he's the logical choice, whatever way the pace scenario sets up.
Yeah, I thought this horse was going to be short priced, and I know speed figure wise, she's in line with some of the others in here, but I thought she was. I thought she was hickory today. I thought maybe Rudy, first time Rudy, we don't believe her, would be all right, speed from the outside, but she needs to get a little bit faster. This was second off a claim. Brad Cox took this horse and had this horse last time in New York, and then a trainer change over to Rudy from Mike Dubb. Raylu Gutierrez is going to ride. She's got speed from the outside. I thought if I wanted anybody against Officer Hutchie, it would be her. And I thought Officer Hutchie was going to be a short price today. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, you don't know what glass ceiling coming out of Demoiselle, really a tough spot there coming out of a maiden claiming race for Danny. Now kind of falls back into probably a more logical spot. So you don't know what the best out of her is going to be. So I think that's a question mark that might take money here and there. I think the 2 Wonder City is interesting coming up from Laurel. Horses run numbers that are fair enough and probably good enough to hit the board, possibly win here with the best kind of trip. Has shown to be able to stalk from the inside. I think we'll probably have to do that again. Won't be the fastest, but won't be too far off the lead. Maybe can get first run. But you're right. I think everything surrounds Officer Hutchie in here. Yeah,
I thought she was going to be really, really tough in here. She may even be the horse I lean on in the late pick 5 today. Maybe a little we don't believe her, but I think Officer Hutchie's going to be tough. We both have her on top. Race number 6 in the books. Race number 7. Allowance optional claimant for the State Breds will go 2 turns, 9 furlongs, mile and an eighth. Here's Big Mountain, and you would think Big Mountain is going to be on the lead like he was this day. This was coming off a tough beat to Joe Smokin' Gun, and I think a lot of people thought that was a fluky effort. He actually came back and more than verified that effort 2 starts back.
Well, and the question is, where do those 2 starts come from? Okay, I get it. If you're not going to bet him last time at 8-1, understandably, maybe it was just a freak performance. Now he wins by 6, running a similar number here. He's 1 going 2 turns, so 2 turns shouldn't be too much of a difference here. And I don't see there being too much other speed. Bluegrass Cat Smile, I know showed speed last time, but really more of a plotter, more of a kind of grinded out kind of horse. Other than that, Carthon maybe will show speed, but I don't think you want to run with this horse. I think Big Mountain's going to be alone on the lead. Is the mile and eighth going to be too much? That's going to be the question mark. The best races have come at a mile, so does the extra panel affect him in any way? But other than that, I couldn't really get past the Carthon or Big Mountain.
I couldn't either. He's run around 2 turns up at Finger Lakes, and you said you don't. The 1 turn might be where these races came from, even though it's counterintuitive. More often than not, the speed horses, the speed carries better around the 2 turns. This horse was just really effective in his last 2 starts. I know the bias helped him 2 starts back. I thought speed carried on that racetrack that day, but I don't know. Last time he really, ran a hole in one, and he kept on running through. Yeah. He ran through the wire that day. He'll be tough. I went to Carthon. You know, the problem with Carthon is he might be a need to lead type, and if he is, he's probably not getting it from Big Mountain in here. That kind of negates his chances. I don't know. Maybe Big Mountain opens up enough of a lead where Carthon just sits a loose 2-hole and is able to relax. You know, that's the one thing about Carthon. We've never seen him relax. Now, the blinkers come off, so maybe they try to get him to relax today. I gave him a tepid selection over him. I'm using Carthon and Big Mountain strong, maybe a little Bluegrass Cat's Smile. Twisted Tom. Twisted Tom is a 3/4 of a millionaire. and he's one we haven't talked about yet. And here he is, 2 starts back. This is first off the AC Avila claim, and this is when AC Avila's barn was guns blazing. They were winning everything. Everything was running. Vickers Legend had won 2 in a row, and this horse picking him up and laying him down, running by Storm Prophet and Daneberry this day. This was a big effort. He gets back to the 2 turns. He gets the 9 furlongs again. He ran against Mr. Buff, who's going to be the favorite to defend his Jazzle title tomorrow here at the Big A. What do you do with him? I mean, he's supposed to get a good setup. Big Mountain and Carthon should provide plenty of pace.
To be honest with you, I have no idea what to do, because on his best day, and we've seen his best day, to win almost $800,000, it's good enough to win here, in all honesty, especially in this field. But how consistent, first off, is this horse going to be after we saw stakes win after stakes win earlier in his career? He runs a hole in the wind, two back, and then he runs a clunker in the Alex Robb last time out. Mile and 1/8 is right up his wheelhouse, going 2 turns.
He's the 9 furlong horse in the race. Yep. Not to interrupt you, he's the 9 furlong horse in the race.
It's basically all the rest of these horses, other than Big Mountain Carthon, need them to go. Just flat out battle it for a lead. Carthon maybe stalk just to the outside and just force the pace a little bit. Because Twisted Tom, I think Bluegrass Cat Smiles would profit for it. I also think my third pick in here, Fleet Irish, who, where does this horse come from? Going from 40 claimers, running against Mr. Buff and Dynamax Prime. He holds on for 3rd in the stakes performance last time. What says he can't improve there if the pace kind of develops?
Good card, fun feature. Looking forward to seeing the State Breds. They always give their best in race number 7. Wrap it up with a straight A other than in race number 8. Palomita returns from an April break for Chad Brown. My man Bob Edwards, E5 Racing. She loved the mud this day at Keeneland during the spring meet. Broke from the outside draw and just made every pole a winning one.
Yeah, and you know what? This is the kind of horse where I'd be interested to see what kind of gate break she has today. And is she a need the lead type? Because first time out, she was chasing the whole way to finish 2nd behind a runaway winner. Then here was alone on the lead, going 4 wide into the turn, all by herself, just was clearly the best. Now, where has she been? And all of a sudden has been working down Florida, coming back up here to New York. What kind of signs to say? I think she's...
Well, you come up here because the pot's
fair.
50, 60% higher than it is at Gulfstream Park.
That's fair.
You bring her here and you want to listen. If she's the goods, you want to be here in New York. You want to be running her here.
And Manny has no other choice here from the rail but to go with her speed if she breaks cleanly. The only issue, though...
That could be a problem with Forgotten Hero in the starting gate.
Science Fiction in there has shown speed before. So is this the kind of race that, does she get clear? A. B, is she able to rate at all if she does not beat them out of the gate from that inside post? And C, does she need one? There's so many factors in here that she's going to have to check off.
Well, maybe it works out for Science Fiction, and we're running out of time. Maybe it works out for Science Fiction. You know what it could work out for? It could work out for Gypsy Janie. I don't know where that race came from last time. Michael Tenuzzo took her. Maybe it works out for Aunt Babe, horses that are coming late. It's kind of hard to envision Palomita getting into a speed duel with Forgotten Hero, but then you're taking away her best weapon.
Exactly. That is the biggest question mark. You don't know if she's going to be able to rate. I thought one that is a New York favorite in here, doesn't get to the winner's circle so much, Aunt Babe. Just if you want a little supers there, because she might be cleaning up. Might not have the late kick, but I think was interesting underneath in tries and supers.
Good job the last couple of days.
Thanks.
Naira Bets, Big A, the promo code, deposit match up to $200 for you new members only. Get over to nairabets.com for more details. It's the happy hour, early pick 4, 1 million points.